Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday! The Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. So let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. I'm traveling right now, as you can see. I'm at my dad's house, so I didn't bring any cards, but I did bring the self-card deck, and Self-Care Wednesday is going to be a little difficult because I'm taking my dad in for a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Well, it's a procedure. That's why I'm down here. The man is totally capable of taking care of himself, but they required him to have a rider or someone to drive him home. So, and he's fine. For anybody that knows him and watches later, he's fine. He's just having, my dad has what they call an AED. It's not a pacemaker, but it's similar. So it's just time to have that one replaced. So the batteries only last so long, but, let's see. So I do have the self-care deck, and let's just see what comes out. But today I'm gonna talk about an interesting subject, one personal to me. So it'll be fun, it'll be exciting, maybe a little bit educational, and I'm just gonna touch the surface of it. Oh my goodness, does this self-card? There we go. It's like, does this deck have any cards for you guys? But I will try to do a show tomorrow. If I don't do a live one, then I will do, what do you call it? If I don't do a live one, then I'll just probably film it and post it. So there will be some version of Self-Care Wednesday tomorrow. So anyways, number one, nourish your temple. I know, it's backwards. I forgot to turn the screen around. You'll get over it. Well, let's see. Let's see if I can do it now. So, I know, that was weird, right? That was totally weird. But anyways, nourish your temple. So, nourish your temple. So basically, take care of yourselves. I mean, how much more straightforward can that be? Take care of yourselves. Eat better. No one's saying you can't eat the stuff that you love, but, throwing some greens and healthy stuff in there a lot would probably be very beneficial. So, and I might just actually be saying that to myself. So, and be still. Be still. Be still is, I think it's pretty obvious. Be still. Be still. Sometimes we just constantly go and go and go and go and go, and we forget to slow down. And when we forget to slow down, you can cause yourself, I'm sorry. This is why I don't like sitting in front of a window, because everything is so distracting out there. I mean, there's birds and scenery, and it's just really pretty. This is my childhood bedroom. But anyways, but sometimes we forget to be still. We forget to take time out from the rat race, right? And just take a break. And just take a break. So, I'm sorry. Whenever the camera is backwards, it always feels so awkward to me. So I'm getting used to it. But yeah, so just take some time. I mean, if you're busy in your day and you don't really have the time, take a few moments at your desk to just breathe in, right? We talked about the breathing exercise, 4-7-8, where you breathe into the count of 4, you hold it for the count of 7, and you release to the count of 8. Now, I don't want anyone to suffocate. So, if you can't hold it to the count of 7, hold it as long as you can, but you can train yourself to get there. So just, give yourself that grace and that compassion to just slow down for a little bit. Okay. So let's see next. Oh, good morning, Deborah. Oh, good morning, older sibling. So, that one. So rest. Oh, look at that, rest. Okay. So I don't know who needs to hear this today, but you just got be still and rest in the same thing. So someone's telling you, you need to slow down. You need to slow the hell down and fast. Like I said, not slowing down can cause health problems. It can cause, in certain cases of somebody watching, it can cause a slow progress to healing when you've had major surgery. That's right. So Deborah's leaving us and going to Idaho because that's where her mom lives. But yeah, packing can be a pain in the ass, but This card is letting everybody know, no matter what you're doing, take some moments to just rest. It will still be there. You can take 5 minutes, set an alarm. Set an alarm so you don't just get all, crazy. And if you're worried about, just being lazy and hitting that alarm, then set a second alarm right after it. If you have a smartphone, you have alarms on your phone and you can set more than one at a time. So just do that, but make sure you take those 5 minutes or 10 minutes to just rest and see, this is what I was saying. So she said that she was told yesterday she will likely need a third knee surgery. You have got to slow down, girl. Okay? Slow down. So, all right. Those were the cards to talk about while I wait for everybody to come on. So let's get to today's subject. May feels like it was the month made for me. Older sibling has a birthday in a couple of weeks, but it's also Asian American Pacific Islander month, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So I don't know if it's Mental Health Awareness Month everywhere else or AAPI month anywhere else, but in the United States, that's what it is. So we'll be talking a lot about that. Thursday, I'll probably be talking more about the mental health aspect, but it's Asian American Pacific Islander month, and I happen to qualify for both. So let's see. A lot of people probably wonder why May was chosen. I was wondering why May was just like, why May? It's so random. I mean, why any of these months, right? I mean, you have Black History Month, you have Mexican American Month, or Mexican History Month. And it's like, why do they pick specific months? Why is February Black History Month? Why is, I can't remember, sorry, when Mexican History Month is, but, or Latin month. I can't remember what they call it. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to butcher that or be offensive to anyone. But I always wonder why they pick specific times. And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, you know what? Let's Google this and find out. So according to Google, and whoever wrote Google, the thing on Google, May was chosen to commemorate the first immigrants from Japan in 1843. So it was like, what, 279 years ago? So, no. My math. 200, oh my God, seriously. Sorry, it was 180 years ago. I'm telling you, sometimes when I go stupid, I go nuclear stupid. But yeah, so 1843. All right, so do your math. It's 180 years ago. But let's see. The rich history of Asian American Pacific Islanders is thousands of years old and integral to the shaping of the United States. I know a lot of people go like, really? How? Well, you can thank my people, the Hawaiians, for your first birthday parties or your Aloha themed everything. I mean, people always complain about culturally appropriating, but no one ever seems to stop when it comes to the Hawaiians. So, yeah, every time you do this and think you're funny, it's that it's a story. Hulas are a story. The chants are a story. I mean, like I said yesterday, we're technically Native Americans. We're just not Native Americans in the sense of the Native American, which is the American Indian. So, but if you really stop and think about it, because Hawaii did become a part of the United States in 1959, it, technically, I would say there are Native Hawaiians, which I guess technically could be Native Americans. So, anyways, I know in my own mind that works, but yeah, no, and you know what? Like I said, I don't care. I'm gonna go a little sideways on this, and I knew I would probably do this when it comes to culturally appropriating. So I hate that term, and I'm gonna tell you why I hate that term, because people get so offended over everything. Well, they're doing this and they're making fun of that. It's like, you know what? Instead of being angry at people and, canceling people for doing this, educate them. Educate them. Clearly, someone finds whatever style something is, they find it attractive. They find it pretty. I don't think the majority of people do things or wear things to be offensive. I think they do it because they're intrigued. because they like it, because they find something very, special or interesting about it, and then, but instead of people sitting there going, well, this is what this means, this is what that means, they just automatically cancel people. And I hate that too. I mean, seriously, just stop. Canceling is going from one end to the other. All right. I mean, you were literally, you're just doing like a 180 or whatever. I can't say a 360 because then you're coming back around the other way. But, you're just, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions about both of those subjects. And I think the reason I do is because, like I said, when it comes to Hawaii or Asian things, well, not necessarily Asian things, but when it comes to Hawaii, a lot of people forget that it's culturally appropriating. When you see the movies with the coconut shells and the grass skirts and them just pretending to do the hula or something, it's like, that's a sacred thing in Hawaii. That is how they tell stories. So every time you see someone doing a hula, every time you go to a hula show or something, it's telling a story. And I know that a lot of times it's hard to understand because they use the native language, but they are telling a story. And so, I'm not going to stop you from being fun and doing all that because, everyone's just out there to have a good time. But, I would probably attribute the coconut shells to the missionaries that got to Hawaii and made the ladies cover up, made them ashamed of their bodies. Because I don't think they were ashamed of their bodies before that. But, hey, what do I know? So, I don't have a time machine. But also, I am a firm believer in reincarnation. So when somebody culturally appropriates something, it's very possible that they're just carrying something through from a past life. So like I said, instead of saying, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that or you shouldn't be doing this, educate people. Say something, open up the dialogue and teach them, but I mean, stopping people from doing things or stopping people from wearing hair a certain way. I mean, I always love it when people say, oh, well, I can't believe this X person is wearing this X hairstyle. And then other people go off and they're using the same hairstyle of maybe that culture. It's like, okay, seriously? We got to stop being mad over everything. And that's my segue into something that, was very, very important, that even the current president had to initiate, a hate crime act because of, the big COVID thing, right? And there was a specific somebody who used to be president calling it the Kung flu, not funny. I mean, Asians were getting, and mostly Asians, were getting beaten up left and right. They were getting harassed and they were getting picked on. I mean, they didn't do anything. They're just minding their own business, running around. Sorry, they're Asian. But that wasn't cool. That wasn't nice. And, this is what I'm talking about. We have to be better. We have to be kinder. We have to be, more open and willing to talk about things. Just forget culturally appropriating, forget canceling. That's stupid. Just educate people, and don't go hating on people just because some figurehead thinks it's funny to make fun of people, because it wasn't. There was a lot of people that were hurt during that 2-year period, and still today. And I get it. I mean, you're looking at me probably going, well, how do you know about all that stuff? When I was 14 years old, I was the captain of the crossing guards at my school. And I had this gentleman come up to me and I proudly call myself a half breed because I'm half Asian, Pacific Islander, I'm half white. And boy, he laid into me. He was drunk, probably homeless, and he laid into me like nobody's business. And every word in the book. And he says, well, I'm just calling you everything because I can't figure out what the F you are. And it's like, okay, I was 14. But that wasn't the first time, or that wasn't the first and last time. Because I am a half-breed, I do get a lot of comments made about me. I'm not Hawaiian enough. I'm not Asian enough. I'm not white enough. Believe it or not, I even have some African American in me. That's right. My great-great-grandfather. So, wait. Great-great. Yeah, great-great-grandfather. I couldn't think of that. But yeah, I get a lot of the comments. I get a lot of the comments. And over time, you build a thick skin and you start to think, yeah, you know what? I don't care. But I also think it puts me in a very interesting position to talk about these things, because I think we've all had somebody say something nasty or mean or rude to us. I know older sibling has. Older sibling lived through the era of busing, and she had a boyfriend that bussed in. And they're it's a white girl dating an African American gentleman and or boy, and not he was a teenager at the time, or they were teenagers at the time. And that even in California that didn't go over so swell. Probably not as bad as it would have in the South, but there was still some animosity and chaos surrounded about that. And so, there are people that say, well, how come these people get a month dedicated to them, and how come these people get a month dedicated to them? It's not really so much about dedicating it. It's about learning the culture. It's about being educated about a person's culture. Every day we hear about our own history, and you can call it any kind of history that you want, but we all are in this country. We all belong to this country, and we all belong to this world. And, we've got to figure out how to stop hating on each other, because it's getting to the point of being just stupid and ridiculous. I mean, seriously, get a freaking grip, because hating people for no other reason than maybe the color of their skin or the status of their party, whatever political party they belong to, that's ridiculous. If you remove all those things, if you put two people in a room that are blindfolded, that probably would have hated each other if they would have set eyes on one another or learned each other's political preferences, and you set them in a room with a blindfold and you just have them talk, I guarantee you when they take off the blinders, they're going to be like, oh, because they probably would have had this great conversation. They probably would have figured out they have so much in common and had no idea how much in common they actually had, just because they go by first impressions. So we need to be better. But anyways, back to my subject. So, I'm not going to apologize anymore. I know when I first came back on this show, last week I stressed myself out so bad because I thought, oh my God, I go sideways all the time. I start going into different subjects. I start thinking about different subjects, and I don't mean to get on a soapbox, and I can't tell you what to do. I'm just making these suggestions because I really do think we do need to be better. We do need to be, kinder to one another. I'm not saying go out there and, as my dad likes to say, live a happy joy life, like from Demolition Man, where you say a swear word, you get an infraction. I don't mean live like that. We're humans. We're going to lose our shit from time to time, or we're going to have arguments with people, and we're going to have discussions, and they might get heated. But what I'm saying is, in general, overall, don't go judging people before you've met them. You may miss the greatest friendship or relationship, or maybe even a family relationship of your life, because you just decided what somebody else says has to be truth. It has to be the honest truth before making your own decisions. And sometimes the friendships won't work out, sometimes the relationships won't work out, sometimes the family things won't work out. And and sometimes they don't work out because people have growing up to do, or because maybe you're just not connected in the way you want to be. But it is a lesson. Even if someone just comes in for a season, it could be the most fun season, right? And then you move on and you're just like, wow, that was so, hey, remember that time when? So let's not judge a book by its cover, okay? So interestingly enough, May, as American Asian Pacific Islander Month, goes all the way back to 1978. So it was about 45 years ago. Congress passed a joint resolution to commemorate AAPI week. Just a week. Just a week. Then in 1990, Bush Sr. expanded it to a month. So yay, we get the whole month of May, all 31 days. And then in 1992, Public Law 102-450 is passed, officially designating May as Asian American Pacific Islander Month. So for 31 years, it's been official. And I'm going to tell you this right now, I only learned about it about 4 years ago. Where have I been? But whatever, right? As long as I know now. So I wrote this, so I'm going to read it, okay? From a Hapa girl. Hapa is a Hawaiian word for half, well, it's usually half Hawaiian, half white, or half Hawaiian, half whatever. But now it's kind of expanded into half American Asian Pacific Islander to whatever the other half is that's not American Asian Pacific Islander. So, it doesn't matter the other nationality, as long as half of you is Asian American Pacific Islander and the other half of you is whatever, you are a Hapa child. And like I said, in Hawaii it used to be half white, half Hawaiian. But and I do have Hawaiian bloodline, not just because I was born there. But from a Hapa girl to you, even if you have 10%, 5%, or 1%, explore the culture and be proud. If you love the culture, share it. That's how we spread the aloha and share and teach about our history, how we educate people. A month of any culture is time to learn and explore and acknowledge the many achievements of those who came before us. So, instead of sitting there going, oh, well, how come they, the Asians get, a whole month, or how come the Asians have like May for whatever. And it's like, instead of complaining about somebody having a month, whether it's, again, I can't remember. I really apologize if I'm getting the Mexican Heritage Month wrong, but whether it's that, and I think that might be September. If it is September, it's because even though we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, well, I don't. Even though people celebrate Cinco de Mayo in May, which is basically just like St. Patrick's Day, another day to have an excuse to drink, it's more like the 4th of July for them. The 4th of July is when we declared our independence, but we were fighting before that. So before that is kind of May 5th, and it was actually September when they got their independence. So that's something to think on. But and I don't know why I know that. I think I was reading about it, and somebody was talking. It was an article by a Mexican American, and I believe they were talking about how people really kind of mess it up, saying, well, yeah, Cinco de Mayo is when we kind of said, hey, we're not going to take this anymore. And, September is when they actually truly declared and won their independence. That's my understanding. So if I got that wrong, please correct me in the comments. But anyways, I think there's a lot we can learn about any culture in any month, and I think we should try to, like I said, instead of complaining, look at all the people that invented so many things, it's amazing. And even just how yesterday was May Day. May Day is Lay Day in Hawaii. That's literally what it's called. May Day is Lay Day. And it was to celebrate the art of making, giving, and wearing the flower lei. And even that has exploded. Like I said, they make money leis now. They make knitted, with yarn and stuff leis. And a lot of people will do that for like celebrations where they'll make enough for the people coming or enough for the immediate family, depending on what the occasion is, when people get married, when people pass away, birthdays, graduations, everything. I'm sure that if there was a baptismal and you could put a lei on the child, they would. But I think the parents wear those. But that's what I'm saying. Most people don't understand, the celebration of that. It is not that easy to make a lei. I talked about that yesterday. Not that easy. I'm sure once you get the hang of it, it's fine and a lot easier. And I'm sure they have ways of making it a little bit easier now, especially when you go to the airport in Hawaii, any island in Hawaii, right? There's like leis everywhere. Oh, buy a lei. But yeah, and even stores now out here will sell them, or you can order them and have them shipped in. So, excuse me, but somebody wanted to make something specifically for Hawaii, and that's why that became their day. And I had no idea about that until I started research saying, hey, let's do some research on, this, because excuse me, for some reason, for all the nationalities I am a certified mutt. I always lean into my Irish side a lot. And yes, I have Irish. I know you're looking at me like, what? But no, I do. I have a lot. I have, I believe I have more Irish than I have Scottish and English. But yeah, they're just so fascinating. That whole metaphysical side, especially with the Celts and all that, and really just kind of leaning in on that. And and I do the same a little bit with my Hawaiian side. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about my Filipino side. And that used to drive my mom nuts. But one of the things I always thought was funny about that is that my mom raised me in the Hawaiian culture. My parents did. My parents both raised me in the Hawaiian culture. My dad is actually the Hawaiian one, and my mom was the Filipino. I think I mentioned that yesterday. But they were both born in Hawaii. They were both raised mostly in the Hawaiian culture with, their own cultural foods and stuff. And it's like a hodgepodge of things. I mean, when I was growing up, I thought all the stuff I was eating was Hawaiian, and turns out none of it was close. It was just variations of things that, my parents grew up with. And so I think it's time for me to do a deep dive into all my nationalities. I mean, one of the things that I'm very proud of, and now you're getting to know a little bit more about me. One of the things I'm very proud of is the fact that I do have some German, a lot of Belgian, but a lot of Belgian, but I do have some German, and I was made in Germany. I'll let you think on that as long as you want, because my father was in the service at the time, and my parents were stationed, or my dad was stationed in Germany. But I always thought that was kind of a point of pride for me, because it's like, ooh, so and of course I was born in Hawaii, but again, I'm not just Hawaiian because I was born in Hawaii. I actually have Hawaiian blood. So I think, instead of us judging different things, let's educate ourselves. Let's stop looking at people like, they have 20 heads. Stop yelling at people like, they're a demon straight out of hell. Because personally, I would have to say the people that are, I'm just going to say it, the people who are fucking racists, they're the ones that I consider straight out of hell. But they don't, I think half the time we sit there and we go, oh, we'll see, but now you're judging them. And I am, and probably inappropriately so. And I'll tell you why. Because racism isn't born in someone, it is taught. It is taught. So we need to be careful what we say around people, around children, because that's what they learn. That's what they learn. They learn hatred from somebody else. It's like a dog, right? I mean, you can have a pit bull, and yes, pit bulls were bred for fighting. But I know a lot of people who have them, but I know a lot of people who are afraid of them because of their history. So immediately they get judged right away. And, sometimes it's hard not to. I mean, you hear about these random stories from time to time, somebody getting their face ripped off by one. But, literally. But they're born, and, they didn't ask to be bred for that reason. And so I think sometimes they just want to be loved. I think they just want to be seen. But then they're taught to fight. They're taught to be angry. They're taught to be hateful of the other, animal in the ring for somebody else's purpose. And, and people will say, well, that's, this, that, or the other. I know in Hawaii, cockfighting is a huge thing. The chickens, the roosters. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. But yeah, cockfighting is a huge thing. I also believe it's extremely illegal. However, and I mean, they're crazy. They will put blades on the chickens. All right. I mean, just to win. But, but the chickens aren't born to, to go fighting another rooster. No. They're there to make babies so we can have breakfast in the morning. I know I'm so bad. All the people who do not eat animals are like, oh my God, you're a horrible human being. I am not a horrible human being. I just, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just like meat. But don't think it doesn't cross my mind from time to time how bad I do feel about that. So I do. But I'm getting to this phase in my life now where, yesterday I was just lounging in bed watching one of my shows, which is, I'm almost done binging it, so I'm kind of sad because it's almost over. But I just thought, you know what, I'm going to take a shameless selfie. And I just posted it and I said, I am no longer sorry for chill mode. And I'm not, because a lot of times I feel bad that I'm not out there being more productive like other people. And I'm not going to say I'm not trying, because I really am. I'm still fighting this up here. And I think once I'm done fighting that, and I'm slowly starting to find my footing now. So now we're going into the mental health aspect of this talk. Yay! We're covering mental health in May. But I'm still working. I'm starting to balance out, I think, the noggin. So, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to feel bad about things anymore. And I put that on, I posted the picture on my Facebook page, and which is basically all family and friends. And I said, no longer apologizing for chill mode. And a friend of mine, Susan, said, guilt is self-imposed, or something like that. Something like guilt is self-imposed. And she's on, you should never, ever, feel that way. And it's like, you know what? She's right. I'm not going to feel guilty about things anymore. If I do something bad, yeah, I definitely should apologize and make amends for that. Or if I do something sketchy, definitely, get the guilt out of the way and just apologize for it. But I'm not going to apologize for being me anymore. My lives have a tendency to go all over the place. It's like a squirrel. It's just everywhere. But that's just my personality. Sibling and I can sit in the living room downstairs before we turn on the TV on a Sunday morning and literally have a 3-hour conversation and just talking about all kinds of, we subject jump. Saturday we had lunch with a really good friend of ours, and we literally sat in that restaurant for 6.5 hours and just talking. We didn't even realize what time it was until we're all looking out the window going, holy crap, the sun's going down. We got there at 1, and I think we left there about 7:45. But there was no time. It's like no time was missed. There was never a lull in the subject. Even when somebody had to go up and go to the restroom, it's like, there was never a lull in the subject or in the conversation. So that's just how my brain works. And it can be very random sometimes. It can, I love to learn things. And I think kind of like how I went from talking about the AAPI month to, cultural appropriating and cancellations and all that stuff. I like to think that sometimes when I'm talking, it's like a tree that's growing, right? It's like, you have this tree, which is the subject, and then you have these branches which come off of the subject. And that seems to be the way my brain works. And last week, I spent far too long punishing myself for that. Thinking, oh my God, people are going to think my show is stupid. People are going to think this. This is why I took those couple of weeks off, because I figured I need to get my brain together, and, I got to stop subject jumping from here to there and whatnot, because I'm sure people don't like that. And I thought exactly what my therapist said. You do your show, and if people watch it, great, because I'm sure it's a really good one. But she's all, don't stop being you. And I think I just realized that today, that this is just how my brain works. I took 2 weeks off only to figure out that that's who I am. It had nothing to do with my mental health. It had everything to do with just the excitement I get of just kind of subject jumping, because things fascinate me, or things just hit my head and I feel like I have to talk about them. So, even though I start off in one place, that doesn't mean that's where we're going to end. And I have to say that I'm not going to apologize for that anymore. Baby sibling gets mad when I apologize for being who I am. And it turns out, and this is what I'm saying, right? When we first started talking about this a few minutes ago, I talked about how, I'm finally getting my head in balance, and, I'm sure the shows will be better. But as I started talking about this, I just realized this is who I am. And, I'm not going to be ashamed of that anymore. And I don't think anybody should. Embrace who you are. Love who you are. Embrace all your nationalities. Embrace everything about you. I have a lot to learn about a lot of my different nationalities, and I think it's time that I start focusing on more than just 2. I have about 8 or 9, but I think it's time I stop focusing on just 2 of them and really start, exploring. We have a wonderful, wonderful family group on Facebook, because baby sibling got in touch with a I'll call them our long lost relatives on both of our dad's side. Cause she's actually my baby cousin. Her dad is my dad's baby brother. But she was able to get in touch with our other side of the family because none of us knew our father's side, our Lucas side of the family. So that's been exciting, and to learn so much, even if it's not about my family directly, and it's the one of my cousins who runs the page. She'll share stuff about her family because her family's, somehow sometimes they actually intermingle too. Because I mean, when you had communities, people would marry neighbors or relatives of those neighbors, and so their families kind of interweave. But it's so fun to read about it. I love history, and I love to learn about new things. And I think that if we all took the time to learn about one another instead of hating one another or being angry at one another or blaming somebody else for something that wasn't their fault, I think we would probably find a better footing in this world, period. Not just this country, but in this world. We have to learn to open the dialogue. We have to learn to talk to one another. We have to learn to stop looking at somebody with just pure hatred for absolutely no reason. Then that's what you were taught to do, because it's not working, and it's dumb. I'm just gonna say it. It's dumb. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not looking for this to be the happy joy version of Demolition Man. Okay, like I said, if you've ever seen that movie, like I said, we are human. We are going to lose our ever loving shit, and it's going to happen. We're gonna not like things. We're gonna not like people, not based on anything more than maybe we just don't get along with them. Maybe they betrayed us. Maybe they turned their back on us. Whatever. But don't carry that anger either. Just let it go. Look around you, all the wonderful things that you have around you, all the beautiful people that you have around you, and focus on that. Okay, so I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I am putting my soapbox away. Like I said, I'm going to try to figure out how to work out self-care tomorrow. I'm going to bring the equipment with me, which is not a lot, but if I am able to do it from the hospital, then I will. Like I said, please don't worry. Don't worry. My dad is having an outpatient procedure. He is going to be fine. He's probably going to kill me if anybody ever says, "Hey, Ed, what's going on? I saw it on Shelly's show." So sorry. If that's the case, sorry. But yeah, Dad's having a procedure tomorrow, which is not that bad. It is barely invasive. He's just having his little, he's getting his ticker retickered, his emergency ticker retickered, okay, which means he's just having it replaced. So he'll be fine. But I'm just explaining that. So if I can do the show from there, depending on where they put me while he's in his procedure, then I will. If not, I will try to do it later, or maybe I'll create one tonight and post it tomorrow. I really kind of want to do it tomorrow though, because I want to, I really want to push myself out of my comfort zone and not be afraid of having other people around me while I dedicate myself to something I love, which is my lives. So, I have a lot to say, and I feel like I have a lot to share with a lot of people that I think can really help a lot of people. Okay, so again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you from somewhere tomorrow for Self-Care Wednesday, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Time. Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch them. We do not need to be friends for you to watch it. Or I also share them to my YouTube and Facebook page under the Aloha Perspective. All right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. And please, please, please take care of yourselves. Do not judge a book by its cover. And maybe step out of your own comfort zone and get to know somebody that you probably would not have ever gotten to know. Learn about somebody new today. Have a great day.